Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be part 2 of my Understated luxury series. So today we are going to be covering 3 different brands. We already covered Dior, Saint Laurent, and Fendi, and today we will be doing Louis Vuitton, Ferragamo, and Gucci. Last year I did not actually have Gucci on this list, but there were a couple bags I wanted to share with you all. Here they are. We will start with Louis Vuitton, which I think is the least subtle and understated, and then kind of work our way down to Ferragamo and Gucci, which definitely have some more understated options. So let's get started with Louis Vuitton. So first up is the Sac Sport. This one handle, slightly more slouchy bag, that silhouette is everywhere right now, and this is Louis Vuitton's take on it. By the name Sport, you know it's going to be a slightly more casual, so it's not understated in terms of being like this rigid bag, but I do think that there is an elegance to it, the way that they have it just kind of more subtle, especially for Louis Vuitton. The embossed leather isn't my favorite, but it definitely is more subtle than certainly something like the monogram, and I do think on here the embossing is even less pronounced. The Diane is also a more casual bag, also has the embossing. There's something about this that is more casual and yet still a little bit more subtle. Again, not necessarily understated or luxurious. Understated for sure, maybe not so luxurious, but there is something definitely more subtle about this one for Louis Vuitton. I always think anything with a top handle is going to be more luxurious, so the Madeline BB needed to make the list. And also embossed does have the bigger hardware, but it's not hardware that I think is super in your face, so I do think that this is a cute option. And then the last one, which is another top handle and not embossed, is the Lock Me Ever Mini. And although this one definitely has the largest Louis Vuitton, like obvious hardware, I do think that the lack of embossing, the silhouette of it, definitely lends itself to looking a little bit more understated and luxurious. And I did see this one in person and I liked it. It was a sweet bag. So now we'll move to Ferragamo. Ferragamo, first bag is the Prisma bag or the geometric bag. It has a few different names depending on where you look at it. There's something interesting about this one, right? I like the different shape of it, but it's still very subtle. And I think it's quite luxurious, especially because it is a more rigid, structured leather. There's just something about it that I think is fun and unique and different, yet still elegant. So this hobo bag is a different take on a vintage bag. You know how they're bringing back and re-releasing a lot of styles? This one is not an obvious re-release, but it's a take on some of the vintage ones. Again, another style, a hobo bag I don't necessarily think of as being elegant, but there's something about the mini size of this one that's so cute. And because it's more structured, I like it. And it has this understated vibe to it. I think it's a fun bag and I did enjoy seeing this one in person. Next we come to, there's a few different bags, but we're gonna look at this camera bag with the new logo. I still prefer the old logo. I do. I love the classic Yancini, this kind of elongated one. I get the appeal of it, but it doesn't speak to me as much. However, I think that the bag itself is quite subtle, is nice. And then I also got to see this large tote, which I included in my work bag video that I really liked. The lines on it make it a little bit less understated, but it's definitely not in your face luxury, right? It's definitely still has that more minimal take to it, but it has some more design than a typical tote does. And then we have the Hug bag, which I think is still a pre-order. I don't think it's actually been released yet. This is a re-release of a vintage bag. I have seen this design many times on the vintage market for Ferragamo, and I really do like this one. I think it's a fun design. I like that subtle kind of clasp to it. It's sort of reminiscent of the Kelly, the way that comes, but it obviously doesn't go all the way around, which makes it a little bit more interesting looking. We've got 3 up from Gucci. So the first is going to be the Petite GG mini shoulder bag. Anything with this small hardware and logo is going to look a little bit more understated, but I like this bag. I like that the strap can be pulled up or pulled down so you can wear it in different ways. And it's not, sometimes when you're wearing something crossbody and the top handle like really sticks out, it kind of looks a little less elegant. It just kind of like doesn't look like it fits quite right, or it doesn't sit on your body quite right. So when you can compress the handle and then not have to worry about that and really just have a classic camera bag style, I do think that that is a nice feature to have. So this is a sweet little bag. I will say I saw this one in person, and the space where you can add the strap on the side, it's like a very large piece of hardware, and I find that the strap kind of fell out of it because it's just a toggle strap, fell out of it a little bit. And I also think that it detracts from the bag when you're not using the long strap. So that was not my favorite part of it, but otherwise I think it is a really nice option. The Diana medium shoulder bag we're kind of seeing all over the place, and it does have different sizes. I love the bamboo handle of it. I think that that does exude classic vintage elegance from Gucci, and so I do really like that. And I like that the hardware and the logo is kind of at the top of the bag rather than the front or the back, so you don't really see it as much. That's nice about it. I do wish that it was a little bit more structured. I do find it kind of settles in slightly odd places, especially because it does just have that magnetic closure, which doesn't always fully magnetize. And I wish that you could actually leave it up. So I wish you could leave it up and have it be like a hobo, like an open kind of hobo bag style, and then close it down and change the shape of it. So I do wish that you could do that, but it is a nice bag. It is a nice option, and that hardware on the top is definitely key to making it a little bit more understated. And then you have the Jackie 1961 mini shoulder bag. Anything that's going to be in the Jackie collection is automatically going to, one, have this, exude this luxury aspect to it, this beautiful classic vintage look, but also it is a little bit more subtle because it isn't the GG kind of hardware, that minimal Jackie hardware. So I do like this one. I think the structure of it is nice. The handle, the chain strap. The strap is a little, like it could be a little bit of a more subtle chain, but it is a really great bag overall. Those were my 2023 picks. Please let me know what you think about these bags down below. Did I miss anything from any of these 3 brands that you would have included? It was really interesting to do this series again this year because I didn't have just kind of like the whole archive to go on. I really only had what's been released in the past year. So there definitely were not as many options. Because we're in this quiet luxury trend, I am curious to see if next year maybe more items have come out, or are we gonna be fully kind of back to the new money sort of loud luxury aspect. And I don't know, we will have to see. Some brands, I again, like Prada, just did not have anything this year that was subtle. So will that be different next year? I don't know. We will have to see what 2024 has in store for us. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in a future video.